Hey, welcome back to another News and Journal live stream. I'm joined tonight with Jason Goyette. Of course, he's just flabbergasted that we've already started. Of course, I'm Cole Cooper, a co-owner of News in General, and of course, say no to the police state. We have Jason Goyette, the owner of News in General. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at various articles we have on NewsInGeneral.com this week, such as mainly the police state and what happened over at Target, and some gaming news that Jason's got for us. And I think it's pretty well it. You can follow us at News in General on Twitter. And hey, while you're at it, watching the video, leave some comments, and
yes, please.
We'll get around to them, because we want the interaction with our viewers, don't we, Jason?
Oh, absolutely. We want to know what you think.
Yeah, so absolutely. We will get right on that. So in the first, actually, hang on one second. I know I shouldn't do this, but I have to. I'm interrupting.
You're interrupting this broadcast here. What are you doing, Cole?
I got to make sure that we're looking right in the stream. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure.
So go ahead, Jason, and speak.
Yabba dabba do.
Okay, now I gotta speak. I gotta see if it updates.
Yabba dabba do. Yabba dabba do. Go ahead.
Is it updating? Because there's obviously the delay. Okay, so you laugh, and it's stuck on you.
It's stuck on me.
Yep.
Great. So you guys get to see my ugly mug.
So I'm gonna try the cameraman thing and see if. Oh, wait, no, we're stuck in the beginning. I gotta.
Wait, our stream's stuck?
Okay, it is switching. It is switching.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's switching just fine.
All right, apologies, guys, for this technical difficulty. We were trying to figure out the whole cameraman app because I noticed in the previous shows that it stuck on my face. Like
yeah, so we don't need the cameraman app.
It was me. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
All right, so let's jump in. I got my glasses on today too.
Yes, Mr. Smartman, Mr. Investigator. Tracking down the sources, are you?
I proved I can do that.
Oh, yes, you have, man. You impressed me tonight with what you told me earlier.
Okay, so let's get into this. What was there? Cops beat let's try this again. Cops beat deaf 64-year-old man for not listening to them. Police in Oklahoma were very busy protecting the public from a 64-year-old deaf man who had done nothing wrong. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol pulled over 64-year-old Pearson for a traffic violation. When officers approached the vehicle, Pearl rolled down the window, doing exactly what he was supposed to do, and before Pearl got the chance to do anything, the cops immediately began punching Pearl, which, keep in mind, he is 64, he's an elderly man, and he's deaf. He couldn't have heard the orders the cops were screaming, so while he was being beaten, he attempted to get his ID so he could show it to officers, but he wasn't able to because, the cops continued beating him for several minutes, actually. The officers were beating him because he allegedly didn't follow orders, but keep in mind that Pearl was deaf, he couldn't hear orders, and the officers had to have seen a notice on the driver's side door before they beat him, which stated, "Driver is deaf," and this is apparently a large notice, but instead of realizing the man was deaf and couldn't hear a word they were saying when Pearl rolled down the windows, immediately a beating. After several minutes of protecting and serving him, they charged him with resisting arrest and took him off to jail, where he was refused an interpreter for the entire time he was there. So obviously the cops didn't care to hear. They didn't care to know what he had to say, which is standard, treatment, I guess, in this police state. Now, keep in mind, even if the cops didn't realize the man was deaf, the 64-year-old doesn't sound like much of a threat. All he did was fail to follow orders, which he couldn't hear. Besides, he was still in his vehicle. And it's not like he had a gun that he pulled on the cops or anything either. Yeah, so he obviously wasn't a threat. Besides, if he had a gun, they probably would have backed up and pulled their guns.
Exactly.
Now, if the cops had entered the situation calmly, they probably would have realized he was deaf. But they had to definitely come in and start punching him.
Oh,
they didn't give themselves a chance to learn anything about the situation.
No.
If somebody walks up to you and starts punching you, they're not going to learn anything about you.
And are you going to defend yourself?
Well, you should, but
exactly.
You see, but the problem is when these badged thugs come along, what happens? Yeah. If you defend yourself, you're one resisting arrest. You assaulted an officer.
Yep, there you go.
And they're going to put you away for a long time. So you're supposed to sit there and take the beating from the badged thug. Why? Because he has a badge and magical suit, and of course a gun.
A magical suit.
But instead of calmly
entering, not a game land.
They think it is. They think their suit, badge, and gun grant some extra rights.
They think this is Modern Warfare 3 or something. It's a game.
Well, these young cops are, they are brainwashed. They're mentally ill, and they do want to.
Hey, it's GTA 5. It's GTA 5.
Well, but the surprising thing is, Grand Theft Auto, and I've noticed this. No one else seems to have mentioned this. It has so many references to the police state. You do one minor thing, in Grand Theft Auto. Let's say you just touch a police car.
Yeah.
Like, you
Bump
hit
into
it.
it. Like you run into it or
You bump
something.
into it or whatever. Simple traffic accident. And what happens? You have
Free
like
cars.
20,000 cops all over you.
Exactly.
They got SWAT teams. Don't know.
Yeah.
And you look too, and they're immediately shooting. There's no negotiation in that game.
Yeah.
But I think that's reminiscent of real life. Because
Absolutely.
what happens in real
Look
life?
at these stories.
If they're not punching you, they're shooting you.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
So continuing on in the article. Instead of calmly entering the situation, the cops immediately instigated a fight with a man that is deaf, elderly, and still in his vehicle. For what reason? None. With the facts that we currently have, it doesn't sound like this man was any threat to anyone, so why beat the shit out of him? Well, other than terrorize him anyways, of course. Is that what the cops get off on these days, walking around picking on the elderly, beating the shit out of them? Like I mentioned, they have to be mentally ill. In this case, the cops immediately escalated the situation. This happens a fair bit too, with a 64-year-old deaf man. Even if he wasn't deaf, he still was no threat.
Exactly.
It is a disgusting level of police brutality. What was that?
No, I was just gonna say, there's no investigation at all, or is this just?
Yes. The two officers responsible have been suspended with pay, of course. They definitely have to be paid. Scum like this definitely have to be paid, according to the police. With an investigation.
That's what I hate, guys. You know I hate that when they're paid.
And I can guarantee, I can bet, there's probably 95% chance they will come out, even if they do publish the report and say, the cops did exactly what they're supposed to, or they'll just pull some bullshit like, well, we have to protect the privacy of the officers, so we can't tell you anything. So, either way, you're probably not going to hear anything about it, or they might just say, well, the 64-year-old deaf man was definitely a threat to society and had to be had to get beat down. Now, the family has set up a website bringing attention to police brutality. You can find that at pearlson.com.
That description below, guys.
Yes, and the scary part about this story is, what if, even if the officers didn't realize he was deaf, like I said, they could have calmly entered the situation, but the scary part is, and chances are they probably did, what if the officers did realize that the man was deaf, and they decided, yeah, I'm going to go in here and beat the shit out of a deaf man?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
But was there anybody around? I mean, would they think that? Would they try
I
to do that?
I don't think there was witnesses, and chances are if there were, they're keeping quiet. They don't want to get involved, which is standard in this society. I see
so these cops were obviously trained well.
Oh, for sure.
They should have looked at their surroundings. They should have noticed the thing on the window saying that the man's deaf.
But you could argue they've been trained great too.
Trained what?
You could argue that they've been trained to do exactly what they were supposed to do. Because look, all the cops do this shit now.
That's true. It can't be just a coincidence that all these cops are doing this. They have to be trained trained to do this.
They want to terrorize you.
That's the goal.
That's the full goal. It's not to protect and serve. It's to terrorize the shit out of you.
That's the goal. You know why that's the goal?
Why's that?
To make it seem like we need more security.
Oh, yes. Like, you see, we have to beat the shit out of all these innocent people.
What is this going to do? It's going to cause more homeland terrorism, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to cause more people to be angry at the police, okay?
As they
more
should.
citizens to be angry. And they're going to be labeled terrorism, and they're going to wind up going back after the police, doing something stupid. And they're going to say, oh, look, there's terrorists in our own country. We need more security.
Exactly. It's like when the Americans head over to some country in the Middle East. They bomb this shit out of them, and then the people fight back. And they're like,
and then they wonder,
I don't know why they're doing this. These are terrorists. They have grown up in this life that they just hate the Americans. I wonder why they hate the Americans.
Wonder why.
I wonder why. You blew up their entire family. I wonder why. Really.
Exactly. Hey, you said it, man. You said it right there.
And these people seem like dumbfounded. Like, we blew up the entire apartment building full of innocent families.
I want to clarify to the listeners here, the viewers here. Cole lives in Canada, so he can be outspoken. Okay, he doesn't have to worry about them coming after him. I gotta worry about this. Okay, so I'm agreeing with him, but yeah, I'm definitely ready to ramp up my protest.
It is your constitutional right in the United States to do so.
Exactly.
But of course, they're busy just crumpling up the Constitution and using it to start fire. And
that's why people are worried. That's why people like me are worried that being outspoken like this, it's gonna hit them in the ass. Yeah,
and then I was watching this video. It was like they mentioned this Obama. It was like a satire type thing.
Yeah.
And it mentioned it's like Supreme Leader Obama or something like that.
Supreme Leader? What the fuck? This ain't Star Trek. Like,
I thought it was funny.
Whoa.
And it was a satire thing,
Didn't
took
he
a
do
look
a
at.
presidential address, by the way? I thought he did a presidential address today, or was it yesterday? Or
I don't
something?
know. He's probably just spewing more lies like usual.
Exactly. That's why I didn't watch it. I don't even know when it was. My own
He was
president.
like, "We're gonna end the NSA." Well, I
Yeah.
secretly fund this whole thing,
Oh,
and
yeah, exactly.
terrorism, that's a terrible thing. Well, the U.S. government kind of funds them, but terrible. And
What was that Al Qaeda thing that you mentioned
oh
earlier?
yeah,
That
Al
was good.
Qaeda,
Al Qaeda, yeah.
and of course the FBI. They're against terrorism too, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
foil a lot of terrorist plots that they create.
Well, hey, what are you gonna do?
It's scary too. Like
What are you
they
gonna
come
do?
out.
You're gonna move to Canada. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, they come out and like we've stopped all these terror plots. Just don't read the document saying we created these terror plots.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's why some of these buildings been blown up recently, and a lot of this stuff's happening. They're hiding evidence.
Well, hey, you look at what's going on in Russia now, and there's all this, they're mentioning Al Qaeda with that now. Like, oh, I wonder how that's happened.
Oh crap, this is scary.
And but if it's so dangerous, can somebody please explain why they are still sending all these athletes from every country in the world there?
Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? A couple of weeks ago, or maybe even a couple months ago, I published an article about the Olympics coming up over in Russia, and they said that they don't want any cameras there at all.
Well, that's
media, like news and stuff. Like
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
They're also like confiscating or not allowing tablets, cell phones that have cameras and stuff like that into the stadium or whatever.
Well, yeah, we all know that Russia's total. It's.
So what's going to happen? Why don't they want all this coverage? What if something happens there and there's no evidence of it because there's no cameras to record it?
Oh yeah, and of course all the security footage.
That went missing, guys.
No, yeah.
What happened? The footage got damaged somehow.
We had it all stored in that building.
And it miraculously
it magically just fell down. But,
yeah.
But
level by level,
Yeah. If you look back at this story that we're doing here, the deaf man, it's like, what do you think would happen to him? You think, like, obviously you don't agree with what happened. Obviously this is disgusting level of police brutality, but
absolutely.
What are your thoughts on it?
Oklahoma. I know I'm sad to bring. I don't want to bring up this area, but Oklahoma has been known to have like a lot of race issues. I know that for a fact. I did have I have friends that live in Oklahoma and have problems with this and heard about it, but that's everywhere. Why would police just randomly beat on a black dude?
Well, yeah, I guess there is that racial part to it.
Yeah.
To it.
I mean, would they do that? Would they do the same to a white guy, just rolling down his window, getting ready to talk to him?
I'm trying to say.
What race were these officers?
Good question. Of course, they're not going to release that. They're going to there's an ongoing investigation. We can't,
Yeah,
that's none of your business. Go away. And they really do say that to people with cameras. The cops. I was watching these, like these cop watchers on YouTube.
Yeah.
They got the cameras and the cop walks over. Big tough guy.
Yeah, big
type thing. And he's like, go away.
And he's so pissed off. Like he acts like they're freaking terrorists themselves or something. He wants to beat him up almost.
Hey, if you're holding the camera,
he's like got so much anger.
Police accountability. That's why he's so pissed off.
Exactly.
And then they start scaring you, like that
silent mean stare, like
you're violating my privacy bullshit. It's and then you tell them, we run a public place. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy in public. Well, you're obstructing.
You're obstructing something.
They just pull shit out of their ass when they see a guy with a camera. And something I wanted to mention with that Olympic thing, since you brought it up, the Canadian government actually issued a travel advisory to that particular part of Russia. So it's saying you shouldn't travel there, and you should be extremely careful if you do travel there. So the Canadian government's not necessarily recommending.
We're sending athletes over there?
Exactly, but
what happens if this starts World War III? What happens if a bunch of Americans go to Russia and they capture them, or they fucking start a war and start killing them or something? What if this starts World War III, or starts like a big war or something?
That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Like, obviously, the Canadian government isn't going to stop you from going there because it's within our laws that that you have freedom of movement. And you look at this, and they're saying you probably shouldn't go there. If you want to, that's kind of your problem, but you shouldn't do it. And we can't really do much if anything goes wrong. So
And this is
Oh,
recent, like this
but
hasn't
it's not
been.
safe.
Has this advisory been going on for a while, or is it just
Well, there's travel advisories to other parts of Russia, but this particular one is actually quite recent.
Ooh. Huh.
Here, I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
I know we're going off topic, but
Way off topic.
I'm liking this though. I'm liking
I am
this.
too. I enjoy it. It's interesting to me. I mean,
let's see here. Travel advice. So yeah, Government of Canada. So advisories. So yeah, we got. It does mention. So there's no nationwide advisory for Russia, but it says here you should exercise a high degree of caution due to crime. And then it says for detailed information about the Olympics. They have a page dedicated to it. For fuck's sakes.
Holy hell! A page dedicated to it?
Yeah, it's just made the news a little while ago, and it mentions all the terrorist attacks, about all the explosions and stuff that have been going on there, and it mentions that you should really, really plan it out. And it says here, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, it also says that if you're homosexual, you probably shouldn't go there.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of travel advice for Russia if you decide to go there. But it doesn't sound like a great place to go, especially considering that other parts of Russia.
Now, what area is this close by the where the Olympics?
I'm trying to find the exact page that I need, but I know there is some sort of travel advisory for that.
Is this by the place where, or is this at the place that the Olympics are being held? Or is it
I got a Toronto Sun article here on it.
Okay, yeah.
We haven't really researched this topic, for our viewers because we kind of just stumbled on it.
Yeah, just now actually.
Oh yeah. Trying to see here. Blah 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 blah.
So you're seeing what happens when we're looking up and searching for news and stuff. News stories.
Yeah. So you look at the Toronto Sun here, and the headline here is Canada issues warning for travelers heading to Sochi. So if we're issuing warnings, for our people, why the hell are we sending our people there?
What type of warning? Just like don't go there warning, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like be really careful type of warning if you decide to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely that's cause for concern there because Olympics.
Yeah, so it says here, Canadians heading to Sochi, Russia for a glimpse of Winter Olympic glory do so at their own risk, warns Canada's public safety minister. We're sending athletes there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching the Olympics coming up here because freaking and especially it being in Russia. I mean, come on.
And if you look at the rest of Russia too, I've seen the rest of Sochi. I've seen this article from the National Post. The rest of it is in ruins. Like it really looks like.
Holy fuck!
It really is in ruins.
This is scary. So what do you think could happen though? Do you think they could do something during the Olympics, or?
How about a false flag?
False flag operation. There you go.
You gotta wonder.
Guys, you heard it first. I mean, we're debating it here on live.
I've been thinking about this. Like, they're working up to it. You see these stories and different bombers and this and that. You had a bus bombing there, a train station, other bombings, stuff like that. So I guess you could say that if there is a real terrorist group moving into it, then yes. But you gotta wonder too, what else could be there? Could
be a false flag there?
There's something there.
It's cause for alarm with the evidence and the reports that we're seeing.
Yeah. Hey, Anthony says the live show is screwing up.
Fucking NSA.
Of course, we're talking about a touchy subject here too.
Yeah, we are.
Here, I'll take a look and make sure.
How long has it been screwing up? I haven't gotten a comment.
I just got the message.
Oh, the comment tracker hasn't came in. So did he comment on the show or did he comment in Twitter?
No, it's on Facebook. You should get the message too, actually. But I'll pull it up and see if it's working.
Well, I got mine on vibrate here.
I'm liking this. Yeah. What was it?
Oh no. Well, yeah, I definitely like this talk too.
Yeah.
I definitely like to talk about.
The live show appears to be fine, so it might be his connection because it's coming in fine for me, and I'm doing a live stream and the video at the same time.
And the video at the same time. Hey, YouTube says you got good video, so.
Yeah. You can actually see if your network's good enough to go. Only for Canadians right now, but you can get Google to check the network. But I'm liking this unstructured type thing. It's kind of like a talk show.
Well, because we're kind of bringing in stories that we find like right at the spur of the moment. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
we're talking about them and discussing them and sharing with the audience.
Exactly. I do want to wrap
My
up on
chair
this.
is freaking pissing me off at the moment, but that's beside the point.
There you go. So I'm going to wrap up on our deaf guy story, but bottom
Okay.
line is, it's bullshit that this happened.
Yep.
100%. And it should have not. It should have never happened. As far
They
as
should have seen and seen the evidence and like, oh yeah, this guy's probably might be dead.
did the cops get out of their car and go, I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of someone today? Is that what they're thinking?
Just see this. Oh, let's go after this guy. Oh, he's not talking to me, so I'm gonna punch his eyes in.
Do they wake up in the mornings thinking?
You guys gotta see the pictures, by the way.
Do they wake up in the morning? Yeah, we'll get it on screen for viewers.
Yeah.
But do they wake up in the mornings thinking, I gotta beat the shit out of somebody?
They do. I honestly think they do. I think they're trained to do that. I mean, some of these police officers are ones that are came back from Iraq or came back from being in combat, because you got to think they're coming back, they just came back from a war, they're all ready, ramped up and ready to go, because that's the case sometimes. They come back from war and they get put into a position where they are a police officer or a firefighter because they got put out and sent out when they became activated.
So if you take a look at my screen here.
Oh yeah, okay, you're further up now.
That is what happened to Mr. Pearson. You can see his eyes are all swollen. You can see other pictures too.
Yep. Check out the article in the description.
His face is all beaten up and all that. If you take a look at the article here, we got that on screen for viewers. Head to his website here. You can go to the bottom here. Pull that up for people.
Pearlpearson.com.
Yeah. So take a look here, and there's some pictures. So you got that picture like I mentioned there.
Yep.
Yeah, this one here. So you can see his eyes. As you can see, they're red.
I mean, look at that. I mean, they definitely screwed his eyes up there.
Mm-hmm.
All blood.
They could have caused permanent damage.
Oh yeah, his retina or his cornea or whatever could be screwed up.
So you can even donate to this apparently.
Oh,
There's
definitely.
a donate page now. So yeah,
but
Pearl
then
Pearson.
then again, this website can be taken over and all that money could be fed back to the police.
Oh yeah, exactly. Tax dollars.
Yeah.
They do it somehow, but it is a shame that happened. The
Oh,
police
yeah,
are
absolutely.
definitely out of control. I think and some people sit there and go, yeah, no, the police are not out of control. You're like,
They did what they're supposed to,
Oh yeah, they protected and served. Like, no, they didn't.
What did you say? They protected and served the shit out of that guy?
Yeah.
Out of him
No,
or
I
something?
said once they were finished protecting and serving him.
Yeah.
But no, it's just terrible that happened.
Nothing to
We'll
laugh
get to that
about.
next.
No. What's that? Your audio's going in now.
Oh, really? I was gonna.
Yeah.
What I was saying is we're gonna move to the next article now, and I gotta make sure it's switching now.
Yeah, you're lagged up there big time on my end.
So yeah, we're gonna move into the next article now.
Okay, next article.
Next article is, as soon as it loads, NYPD cops beat 84-year-old man for jaywalking.
For jaywalking.
Police in New York were very busy protecting and serving the people of New York. From an 84, hang on a second. Hang on. Read that for me.
Read it for you? Okay. Police in New York were very busy protecting and serving the people of New York from an 84-year-old man who dared jaywalk. Police felt so threatened for their lives that they thought it was necessary to beat the 84-year-old man because he attempted to walk away from police. The 84-year-old's injuries were serious enough that he had to be sent to the hospital, and 7 hours later, he was sent to the 24th precinct.
I got it.
Okay, I'm done the first paragraph there, so second
You
paragraph.
finished the first paragraph from Willie?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that for
No
viewers.
problem.
From what we know, the police initially stopped the man for jaywalking and attempted to give him a ticket. But the man, who was Chinese, didn't seem to understand what the officers were saying, so he attempted to walk away from police. Now, one cop attempted to pull him back, but according to witnesses, a struggle between the 84-year-old and the officers ensued when the man pushed a cop. An 84-year-old man just has so much strength to hurt the cop. Like he pushed the cop and he's like, "Oh my God, we gotta punch the shit out of him." like first of all, and besides, he was walking away. Now, an 84-year-old does not move that fast.
No,
they probably could have kept up with him. Or maybe, like I mentioned in the article, maybe they should have just got a Chinese-speaking cop out there.
One question. What's up with the police's red face? Why is his whole face like head red?
Oh, I think it's actually the reason it might be red is maybe the flashing lights in the car. Red and blue.
It looks like he's like really pissed off or something. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's probably like, I didn't get to beat him up more.
Yeah.
Kang Wong, the 84-year-old, made it out of the ordeal alive with cuts and bruises to his face.
Good.
His son wasn't allowed to see him because police and hospital staff refused. His son also happens to be a lawyer. That's a good part. Police
Yeah, that
charged
is.
Wong with jaywalking, resisting arrest, obstructing governmental administration, whatever the hell that is,
Wow.
and
Haven't heard
disorderly
that one.
conduct. And another one of Wong's sons said they will probably press
Oh
charges.
yeah. Oh, certainly. Not probably. Certainly.
Now I'm going to read off what I got in the article here, but now let's think about what happened. From what we know, police beat an 84-year-old man because he tried to get away from police and pushed one of the officers. Now, even if he did push an officer, does an 84-year-old man sound like much of a threat? Does
No.
an 84-year-old man sound like a threat that needs to be beat down for the officer's safety and the
Unless
safety of
if he had
those?
the cane.
Well, even then, is an 84-year-old going to be able to strike with the cane that hard?
I was being smart.
Yeah, if he had a gun or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Not my fucking, when he shoots at him, I throw a sandbag or something, so maybe it might not work that well. Does he need to be beat down for the officer's safety and the safety of those in the area? Would the man have caused any trouble if he had gotten away from the almighty police? The answer to all those questions is the same. No, he wouldn't have caused any harm. The man attempted to get away from the police because he didn't understand what they were saying. Now, Jason, I got a question for you. If you didn't understand English, would a big tough badge thug be intimidating?
Oh heck yeah.
Screaming at you, you were jaywalking.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be afraid.
And this guy was up against a wall too. The cop had him kind of up against the wall.
Backed up in the corner. Backed up in the wall.
A guy could be mugging you for all you know. What would you do if you didn't understand what the cop was saying? Like I asked, police tend to be intimidating to a lot of people. If the guy had managed to get away from police, he wouldn't have caused any harm. Besides, like I said, he wasn't moving that fast, and he was 84. Police could have kept up with him. And like I mentioned, they probably knew he was of Asian descent.
Yeah.
So why didn't they get like a Chinese or speaking officer out there, right? Because chances of the NYPD is pretty big. I guarantee there's at least one Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they got quite a bit. I mean.
Yeah.
They should have had somebody there to just, interpret for them.
Oh, for sure. And the initial crime the man dared commit, jaywalking, although it isn't allowed, you could argue it really shouldn't be allowed when you think of it. Yes, it's dangerous, but, nobody was harmed.
Done it before, I mean.
Nobody was harmed.
And look at all the
bystanders.
Look at all the bystanders.
Oh, yeah, the bystanders are watching. Yeah, they're beating up on only for a minute. Yeah. Serving.
Just gonna go along with my business and watch out.
And that's the problem with people. They sit there and they watch these people. Like, good cop. Like, at least pull your camera out and record.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna get over there.
Well, there's a camera there recording. Actually, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy there with the camera in the picture.
Oh yeah, good. But that's probably after the fact.
Yeah, after the fact. He's going in the police car then.
Mm-hmm. So, and maybe if you're recording, you're violating his rights.
Yeah.
And obviously he is, because the cops don't have the right to start punching an 84-year-old man. The guy was not dangerous.
No, the guy was. Sorry, I had to get a drink.
Oh.
No, the guy definitely wasn't dangerous. He 84 years old, just jaywalking, and they obviously knew that, like you said, he was Chinese. They should have had an interpreter there for him. I know the NYPD do have police officers there that are Chinese.
Yeah.
And they do look like they're Americans, that police officers that are arresting him. So.
Yeah, and you look at what happened. He lived on that same street, the same block.
How could this guy look dangerous? I mean, let's try to get a picture up for the viewers.
Oh yeah, I'll get the picture up for everyone. Yeah, I'll share it right now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
does not look like he doesn't look dangerous.
He's not dangerous, like I mentioned. He's 84, so that immediately gets rid of the danger factor. And come on, people. You're gonna beat the shit out of an 84-year-old man.
What's that building in the back? There's a building. City Bank is in the background. So
yeah, like how big of a piece of garbage are you if you're gonna beat up an 84-year-old man?
He's got blood all on his cheek bashes right here. It looks like.
Mm-hmm. The question at this point should be, why the hell is this guy even a cop?
Yeah.
Well,
why are any of these guys?
Hey, go ahead and get that picture up on the screen for people, Jason. I can't. Screen share doesn't want to work.
Yeah, freaking Google.
Mm-hmm. But no, these people should not be cops. If they're going to beat an 84-year-old man, they are scum.
Okay,
they
what
do
am I
not need
showing
to be,
right now?
The picture. They do not need to be police officers if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
They are complete scum. They are complete garbage.
I mean, you can see the bank in the background. There's Citibank in the background right here. You see the bystanders all looking, but I mean, is this after the fact? I mean, the guy's getting put into the police cruiser there, so.
Well, this was in the day, I believe, too.
Yeah.
So
there should have been quite a bit of witness.
If you're in the bank, you're doing your banking or something, you walk onto the bank, you look over down the street, and the cops are just wailing on the fucking, they're 84-year-old man. You're like, do you sit there and go, yeah, they're protecting and serving. Protecting the people of New York, or do you go, those useless scumbags? Yeah,
we got the officers here. You can see some of the officers' faces.
And of course, they all get this, big tough look. The bald guy there, he's like, yeah, I got him arrested.
Yeah. We got him gripping his jacket here, like he's gonna run away. He's dangerous to society. He's gotta.
Now he's an 84-year-old man. We gotta arrest the shit out of him.
Yeah.
like, come on, people. Like, the cops are just terrible at this point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean.
It's just not an honorable thing at this point. You see cops and you fear. You should fear for your life when you see some of these people.
But I want to point out that this is everywhere. It's not just in
Oh yeah, yes, New York is a complete police state, but it's everywhere. Oh, yeah. Even in Canada. Like that one picture we got on the Facebook page that proved it. I know you've seen that, Jason.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
A big, tough RCMP officer in BC is like, and I guess the daughter in the vehicle was trying to say that her mother couldn't walk, and the cop's like, you don't shut up, I'm going to arrest you too.
Cole, do you have audio playing in the background?
No.
No? Okay.
Why?
I could have sworn I heard somebody talking, like, on your end.
Oh, it's totally silent.
Oh, okay. No worries, just keep going. It's a weird little thing.
Okay, well, if our viewers heard that, let us know, because it is totally silent here, for sure.
I don't know, it's like, I have good ears, so I was just, like, really listening hard, and I heard that, so.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
I thought it was your dad for a second. I was like, does he know his dad yelling to him?
No, there's nothing. It's silent.
All right. Okay, no problem.
All right, well, moving on to our next article. Your rights no longer matter in the eyes of the police state. I think that's a somewhat better title.
Oh yeah, and there's a video too. There's a video, guys.
Yes, there's a video of a big tough cop. When the driver's asking, "Am I being paid?" Get over to the side. So obviously not a very good cop. But what do you think of that cop in the video, Jason?
Honestly, asshole. Complete asshole. It was like that video we watched, I believe it was last night or the night before, when that guy was like flipping out to that one guy.
Oh yeah.
He was like, he was so mad, like upset that the guy didn't give him permission to search his car. And it seems like this guy looks exactly like he's pissed off.
When you assert your rights, the cop's like, this son of a bitch knows his rights. How dare he?
This is at a checkpoint, so maybe he was kind of pissed that he was out, having to do this checkpoint or something, but that doesn't give him the rights to fucking cuss at this, driver or whatever.
Technically, the U.S. Constitution, the checkpoint kind of is unconstitutional.
Yeah, it is.
It's like this Nazi thing.
Anthony said he does hear some background noise.
Well, it's totally silent here, so I don't know what it is.
I was the only one that I heard people talking.
Yeah, Anthony, since you're watching, remember the time that you heard that. I'll listen to it after, but it is 100% silent here.
Yeah, I have nobody. My dad's asleep. My door's shut. I'm totally silent in my room here. So.
Anyways,
I just heard more.
Really, there's nothing.
Yes, I swear to God, I just heard more.
Yeah, I don't think Jason's hearing things, but I don't hear anything. So.
I heard I don't know. This one sounded like a female off in the distance in an echo room, like a really echoey room.
Okay, well, I can guarantee you one thing: there is no females in this house. Guaranteed, 100%.
Neither here.
So.
There are no females, I guarantee.
Guaranteed. But let's move on to our next article here.
Okay.
So yeah, your rights no longer matter in the eyes of the police. Big tough guys. Do whatever the cop says or else face arrest, it seems these days, even if the cop is asking something that is definitely 100% unreasonable and unconstitutional against the law. As I've said in the past, the days of protecting and serving are long gone, replaced with an out-of-control police force that seems hell-bent on using as much force as possible, as we've seen many times. It all shows how your rights no longer matter to them. Your rights matter less and less every day, with terror threats being used as a ploy to make you think it's all for your safety. Ask yourself this. If it was for your safety, then why protect against terrorists when they kill far less than the police do? Why not fix the broken police system?
How to do that?
What?
How to do that?
Honestly, I think and of course it's brought up in InfoWars, but think about this. So with these police brutality cases, when there are lawsuits, who ends up paying for them?
The person, the civilian.
No, taxpayers.
Yeah, well, civilian.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, everyone pays for it. So taxpayers end up paying for it, and the police don't lose funding. But if in every one of these cases, if they lost funding, the cops seeing real fines and all that, if they would lose a substantial amount of funding, I bet you they'd stop real quick.
Oh yeah.
We can't buy all the military equipment anymore.
We can't buy all the big tanks to roll down the damn neighborhoods.
Yeah. So I think if they took away the funding,
yeah,
you'd see things starting to turn around.
That could be a good solution.
Because they're out of control, because the money is basically unlimited. Besides, if the government runs out of money, they just make more money.
We don't want to be too insecure or whatever. We want to have some security.
Well, problem is though, we're past the secure point. We're at the point of the police think making you secure is beating the shit out of you.
Exactly.
Like, yes, there's protecting you, but
the thing is, I think they're creating all this mayhem. I think they're doing this on purpose to cause more outbursts of the civilians. That way, they'd have more excuses to implement. Like the article said, like you just said, that they could be doing this just to cause more mayhem or whatever.
Oh yeah, sure, they could. They want more military equipment so they can, they just replace all their Crown Victorias with tanks. I'm sure they would if they could. So yeah, in this article, I'm going to respond to a video that was posted on YouTube depicting police trampling over someone's rights, searching this man's car without consent, without much of a reason. This all took place at a DUI checkpoint, and police failed to even ask whether he had been drinking or not. The cop in this case seemed more pissed off that that he pulled over a guy that actually knew his rights. Go ahead.
The whole freaking point is, for a DUI checkpoint, is to make sure they're not drinking. He didn't even ask or care about that. He just wanted to
it was more of, I want to search your
face.
car. And, actually, are you drinking is actually kind of a trick question when you think about it. Because I could easily say, yeah, I drank water.
Yeah, I drank Pepsi. Exactly.
See, I think a better question would at least be, have you
been drinking any alcoholic beverages? There you go.
Not, have you been drinking tonight, sir?
Yeah.
Because
I've been drinking all day, sir.
Someone could, exactly.
So have you.
Exactly. And the cop will get all pissed off and go, I am not drunk.
Yeah, you would. He'd be so pissed off, man. He'd probably be attacking you by then.
Yeah. Going on, the video starts out with a cop asking the driver to roll down the window farther.
Yeah.
It was open just enough that they could hear one another hand over documents like driver's licenses, insurance, stuff like that. The driver did not comply and instead told the cop that rolling down the window further wasn't necessary. And of course, already in the video, you can see the cop is unhappy because he can't control this
thumbnail. The thumbnail does the video justice.
Terrorist, it's probably what he thought it was.
Yeah.
He's a American citizen asserting his rights. Terrorist. The driver asked the cop at various times whether he is being detained or not. This, of course, is the cop never actually answers this question. And now there are two parts in the video that really stand out in my opinion. The first part is when the driver is asked to step out of the vehicle. I want your opinion on this when I get to the end of this paragraph. You can hear an officer ask the driver off camera if he is an attorney or something and whether he knows his rights. And actually, no, after the end of the second paragraph, sorry. The driver then confidently states his rights, and at this point you can already tell the cops aren't too happy with the driver because he dared to know his rights. Now the next part's even more interesting. The next part occurs when the police are searching the car without consent. They did have a dog that allegedly gave them an alert, but as you can see in the video, the driver believes it was a false positive, saying it is easy enough to coerce the dog into giving the police an alert. And now, secondly, the driver, the maker of the video, says he's never had any illegal substances in the vehicle. So the dog shouldn't have detected anything.
So they shouldn't even pulled out the dog. They shouldn't even pulled out the dog if there was no suspicion of illegal substance in the car.
Here is the more interesting part. I think you didn't have a lot to say in this. While searching the car, the two cops talking to one another, so the two cops talking to one another, and the one says, in reference to the driver, he knows his rights and is perfectly innocent.
Wait a minute. Then why the hell are they searching this car if they say that?
Well, because they can. They just want to terrorize him, obviously.
Fucking dicks. That's what I would have said to him.
They're sitting there, going through the, how you can store stuff in the bottom of your driver's door, right? Yeah, and they're searching through there, kind of ripping and tearing things, and
Did they fix it or?
Well, they didn't break
And
anything. They were just
tearing.
moving things
Oh,
around.
he said ripping and tearing. I'm like,
And then they noticed that there was a camera on the passenger side seat. What do? They turn it around, of course.
yeah.
They
Oh
didn't
wait, was
seem
it
too happy.
recording? Was it
Yeah,
recording?
because the cop's like, yeah, it's on too.
Oh, fuck.
um, so of course that's an interesting part. Now obviously, like, why the hell are the cops searching his car if they know he's perfectly innocent? It should have been, hey, you know what, sir? I am terribly sorry for this misunderstanding.
I think they realized that they got caught or whatever, and they tried to cover it up by doing.
But they still didn't apologize. They should have at least, like, when they realized he was perfectly innocent, they should have said, I'm terribly sorry, sir, for this, terrible misunderstanding, and you go ahead and have yourself a great night. But instead, no, they search his car. They search his car. They terrorize him. Like, what the fuck is that? He knew his rights, which is a good thing. That made it harder for them to, terrorize him, but they still tried it anyways.
I've noticed that some cops get ticked off if you don't roll the window all the way down.
Oh yeah, a lot do.
Like if you just roll it like halfway or whatever to talk to them, they're like, okay, yep, go ahead. But yeah, I was saying, I kind of noticed that they get kind of pissed off how whenever you try to roll down the window and talk to them, because that's all you really need to do is like roll the window down so you can talk to them or whatever and hear them.
Yeah.
But I kind of noticed that some cops do get pissed off. I've seen there's a lot of videos out there of cops pulling over people and stuff. But I've noticed can you roll down your window farther, or they get kind of upset about you rolling down the window just a little bit to talk to them. But
well, yeah, because they think it needs to be rolled all the way down.
They think they're disrespecting you or something like that.
No, they want to lean in and smell, and they'll magically smell an illegal substance, and then immediately they're searching your car.
Yeah.
It goes from a simple traffic stop to ripping and tearing your car apart.
Yeah. 1 second here. Gotta get a drink.
All right. But it is interesting. But yeah, this officer definitely stepped out of his boundaries.
Oh yeah, he went way over.
Doing this, he's like, that guy's perfectly innocent. So what do? Let's search his fucking car. Like, come on, guys.
He might have had a bad day and just thought, you know what, I'm gonna piss this guy off.
I'm gonna take it out on some
exactly.
Poor innocent guy.
But they're not there to do that. They're there to protect and serve, like Cole said. But
yeah, they are to protect and serve.
They think they have the right to do this. They had a bad day, so they got a gun and a badge, so they can do whatever. They can make other people have a bad day.
Like Jason said, yes, we need protection, but this isn't protection anymore.
No, not anymore. Yeah.
This is criminal. The police are criminal.
Yeah.
They are not.
You said it just there. There. They're the criminals, not us.
They are the terrorists. Not the terrorists that the government creates.
Cole, I wish I lived in Canada, man, because I would definitely say a lot of stuff right now. But yeah.
Well, it is your right. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. But I'm not. I'm a little worried with all that stuff that's been going on recently.
Yeah, you probably get these government thugs knocking on the door. You asserted your rights.
That's why I'm up here in the northeast in a wooded area that's back in the woods.
Yeah, well,
I have a great escape.
They just get some military helicopter, start bombing.
Something. I've been hearing helicopters come over our house a lot.
Oh, there you go. They're already getting ready. But moving on to our next article, another lengthy one. This is gonna be a long one.
Oh boy.
Why are cops
coming down a little bit, maybe? Because
I think I can. Well, yeah. I'll break it down somewhat.
Yeah,
if you want to read the full article,
it took me almost like 10 minutes to read it.
If you want to read the full article, you can go to newsingeneral.com.
Yes.
And you see right there at the very top.
It's a great article. I
admit it's a great article. But the point I make in this article is, in terms of the elderly, why are the cops coming around picking on them? Because they realize that the elderly most of them do not carry smartphones and cameras ready to record police. So therefore they know there's no police accountability in a situation like that, and they know that they can go in and actually beat them up without any police accountability. And there's also another problem with the police. The corrupt police departments, they don't actually do anything about police brutality, they just defend it. Therefore their policies also fail because of that, because the police department, the justice system, they will defend these scum police officers. Why? No one knows.
But because they train them. They train them to do
the justice system doesn't work for that. The higher ups in the police department don't work.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad to see. But going on too. But I think the biggest part of the elderly is.
Uh oh. Sorry to cut you off.
But yeah, like I said, poor policies and corrupt police departments could cause it. The fact that they don't carry the equipment to record these badged thugs. And of course, if you do record them and you are younger, they just try to intimidate you till you turn the camera off, and then it's beating time.
Oh yeah, turn the camera off.
Yeah, turn the camera off. It's for my protection.
Your battery's gonna die sometime, so when it does.
Yeah. Then as soon as the camera goes on, they start bashing your head into a traffic sign or something. And so that could explain a lot of it. In fact, that they're also power hungry, mentally ill. Of course, a lot of these young cops, of course,
a lot of mentally ill.
Video games could have part of it. Training. Like some poor policies too. Like Jason and I mentioned earlier, they could just be trained to do this shit.
Yeah.
But these people are trained to protect and serve. What do? They don't. And the interesting thing is, the mainstream media doesn't necessarily directly touch on this topic, but they indirectly touch on this topic because they cover good cop stories. But if there wasn't a problem with the police and all of the cops did their jobs as intended, they wouldn't have to report on people doing their jobs the way they were supposed to be done.
I totally agree with that.
That indirectly says there is a problem.
Yeah.
Which is quite scary.
Well, the problem is the government. The government owns everything. They own the media. They own everything. So they can control it.
And the government doesn't care.
Yeah. How are they controlling it? By only allowing the media to publish certain type of news.
Mm-hmm. So that's why the mainstream media, they call you fear-mongers, conspiracy theorists.
Alternative news sources get in trouble basically.
Well, yeah, because CNN, that is the
they're
best
good to go,
media, the best. Of
course,
you got all these corporate sponsors and all that.
Yeah.
They got all these corporate sponsors, government sponsors. Then you wonder why you don't get good news.
Get the real news, actually, the news that matters.
But yeah, the bottom line is, I do encourage people to read this article because you definitely get the full story. It is quite lengthy, though. But the point is,
well detailed.
Very, very much so.
Yeah.
The fact that the elderly don't have the knowledge or even carry the technology around to record these people, poor policies, corrupt police departments, a terrible justice system that protects these thugs, and a whole bunch of other problems with it, I think causes this. And of course, the fact that they're mentally ill, and who knows what.
You think the education, the training could be part having to do with the
It could be.
Shootings and brutality?
It's like, you see the videos, and you're like, would you defend citizens' rights? Well, if I was given an order, no.
I mean, like you said a couple days ago in a video, like, think of our schools now. Like, how long, like, when do you get taught about the Constitution and your rights and, do you get taught that in school? Because
here they mention our rights, but they mention our rights, but it's kind of I noticed it's a kind of a condensed down version. If you look at the entire set of rights and blah blah blah, it's actually fairly lengthy.
I mean, I did not get taught any of that in school.
Yeah, but they never say if a police officer is attempting to violate your rights.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Defend.
I mean, your resource officer, look at them.
Yeah,
in schools.
Well, yeah, you look at stories about them, all over North America. Sometimes you see these stories, beatings in the schools, of course, by the police. So, are we turning our schools into police states? Maybe.
We're getting them prepared and used to the police presence.
Think about it. Do you see the principal or the police officer?
More often you see the police.
So, like, come on here, I
think it's safe to say that they're no longer called resource officers. They're called the police.
They're just cops, really.
Yeah, cops, really, exactly.
They're in schools.
Yeah.
But they're still cops.
Whoa! I just heard a weird noise there.
Like that?
No, it was a voice.
I don't know what you're hearing, unless I'm echoing or something.
Yeah, that's all right.
Is my audio off or something?
It was like a whisper or something. It was freaky.
No, that's I got the right mic on, so I don't know. But where was I?
Let's just stop for 1 second, just to test. Yeah, I don't hear nothing.
There you go. See, nice and silent. But you look at it, and even the education system, it doesn't work. Really, they just teach a bunch of useless garbage, and especially the way they test you.
Well, that's one of the problems we have is the education system in general. I mean,
So
the United States, even North America, Canada too has an education problem.
you look at the way you're tested. You're given this test. Let's say you didn't sleep well. You're having a bad day, an off day.
Yeah.
You failed the test. You think you're stupid because you failed a stupid test.
And you're taught that, you know, oh, you're stupid, you know, you need remedial or whatever.
Yeah, the questions are written in a way to fuck you up.
Yep.
They want you to.
The questions and
they
stuff
want to
like
screw
that,
you
yeah.
over. So sometimes it can be lengthy, to, you know, screw you up. Like you know, we have these reading comprehension tests.
Mhm.
So you got them down there too.
Oh, yeah.
You have to, you know, read some stupid thing and then answer questions about it, like multiple
Yeah.
choice questions. And I've never done all that great at
There's
them.
trick questions. There's trick questions in those I've seen before.
I'm perfectly fine at reading, but I can pass those tests, but I never do a wonderful job.
Yeah.
You know why? I always fall asleep.
You always fall asleep.
Guaranteed every time. I will get very drowsy because they're extremely boring.
Extremely boring.
Boring stories, boring this, stupid
it's like,
garbage.
well, that's because they're probably freaking, you know, typed up by some, you know, kid in the computer lab or whatever, you know. He's probably it's probably not like a well written story. I mean,
some of
doing
them
that
are
on
well
purpose.
written. It's just a boring topic. Like a 100-year-old story. It's this piece of garbage. Like it might have been great 100 years ago.
But the stories
on,
that I've read,
people.
the stories that I've read are like 2 chapters that are like, you know, they look like 2 chapters, but they're like per test and stuff. Like the stories that I've read,
Yeah.
they're like freaking made up crap, like totally bull crap stuff, like not even interesting. Like I've never even seen it in a book before, or even, you know, heard of the author. I mean, it sounds like it's like they just wrote it down, like some random teacher or whatever wrote it down and had you read it.
So you're supposed to, you know, read something that's extremely boring, and then you look at other classes too. Let's say, you know, like science or something. You learn it over, you know, a certain period of time, right? However many months, and then you go take the test, right? The final exam. But if you never actually utilize that for anything outside of school, you're probably not going to retain it that well, unless you're just really good at regurgitating stuff. You're smart.
I mean,
how that works.
Well, I'm
like
when I was in middle school and high school, I was good at a couple things: English, history, stuff like that. I was not too good at math. That's the only problem I had was math, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Every other subject I was great on, A's and B's in every other subject.
Like math, I used to be really good in science, but that's kind of dropped off.
Well, biology, biology. I love biology, man.
I kind of dropped off, so I got really interested in you know, writing and all that stuff. So I kind of, you know, prioritized things.
Oh yeah, I had creative writing, man. That was awesome. And it seems like they don't want you to be creative anymore. They want you to be dumbed down and stupid.
You look at the way things work though. Because you don't actually make use of most of the stuff they teach you, like science stuff, or even math, certain math things, you learn it in school, you do it, and then you forget about it, and then a test comes along. But since you never utilized it anywhere outside of school, your brain had no reason to bother remembering it.
No, the one problem of tests that I have is like the end of the year test, if you will. Like where you're at the end of the year.
And the final exam type thing, like I mentioned.
Yeah. Well, it's called something different in the United States. It's like FCAT or something like that.
There's different types of exams too.
Yeah. That's
give to you. But they make them worth a whole bunch, and you know, if you fail it, you fail everything. You're like, okay, you
if you pass the class, if you pass the test, the exams in the class, that should be fine. But taking a whole test, like that would decide everything, and if you fail that one test, you fail the whole grade.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pass the class, you know, that's fine and dandy. But if you pass that test, you fail the grade. That's stupid.
Mm-hmm. The tests are designed to make you fail, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they are.
You have to be really good at regurgitating stuff. If you can repeat everything the teacher said, you're smart.
Well, you know why they want you to regurgitate? They want you to regurgitate all this stupid CNN news crap and Miley Cyrus work.
If you're really good at that, you're just like the people on CNN. Like, you know, when you're watching the guys on the TV on CNN, they're just reading.
Yeah. And it's the same damn thing the other news reports are.
Mm-hmm.
The other news.
And it's all, you know, garbage anyways, propaganda and all this crap. Yeah. But I think the education system, like, if it was more work and if it was actually useful stuff or stuff you were interested in, you know, maybe it would be more effective.
I mean, look at that, like you said on Facebook. You said you've seen a couple of news organizations' Facebook feeds or whatever, and all the same story was.
I had 15 pictures of Justin Bieber from different news organizations. Same picture too.
Yeah.
Of Justin Bieber from different news organizations, because that's fake news. But they're not going to mention Ukraine.
Yep.
They're not going to mention police beating, you know, elderly men. but they're gonna mention Justin Bieber. Who the fuck cares about him?
Canada can have him back. That's what I say. Get him. Take him. I don't want him. United States does not want him.
Hey, you know what? You guys could technically deport him. He's not a U.S. citizen.
But the reason why we want him is because he's a good, proper...
Distractor.
Yeah, distractor. There you go. That's what I'm looking for.
He's really good at distracting people. So
just like
now,
Miley Cyrus.
Well, yeah. She's like, who really cares about any of these people? Do they affect like this? These people have so many fans, and they think that Justin Bieber's so great.
It affects the world.
So like, watch out him. So what's Justin Bieber done for you lately?
Yeah,
Nothing. Have you ever met him? No. Does he even know of your existence? No. So why do you care about him?
Why should you care about it? Exactly.
Exactly. But then you.
What about the Fukushima radiation that's passing over the United States? You care about that?
Yeah, people don't care about that.
What is Fukushima? Is that like a taco or something?
Yeah. People don't care about politics. I was just watching this video. I got to write an article about it.
Nobody cares about the politics unless if they're like awakened or whatever.
People like us, yeah.
Open, yeah.
A video from Mark Dice. He was walking around conducting these random interviews of people. And on the topic of, did you just hear that President Kennedy just died? All the people in this video, except one, bought the story. And one person was even saying, yeah, I woke up this morning, I was looking on my phone, and I've seen it, yeah. I was blown away that President Kennedy died. How the fuck did you see it on your phone? It never happened. It happened, but in the 60s, in 1963,
yeah, exactly.
November. And this guy was young, too, so he wasn't even in existence at this point.
Remember when last night I was like reading off something and I said about that Obama thing? And you're like, oh crap, APS.com or AssociatedPress.com or whatever, you're looking it up.
Yeah.
About the story.
Sometimes AP even puts on trash.
Yeah. Well, I think I was reading that off of a fake tweet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But it is just, I don't know, man, it's something else. People believed that President Kennedy had just died. He was 80 years of age.
How could they?
When he died in 1963.
Wait, how many people did you say? How many people?
I don't remember the number of people, and only one person. One person was able to say.
He died a long time ago. Yeah. Wow.
So at least one person got it. And Mark Dice was like,
yeah, but I wonder how
not being a zombie.
A dumbass. Yeah. How many people got it though? I wonder.
And he says he normally doesn't edit his videos, so what you see is really what it was like. He just doesn't add the ones that the mic
so
didn't
this
work
was
properly.
Worldwide then. This was worldwide, right?
No, this interview was just in San Diego, of course, California.
No, but the video was seen worldwide, right?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can see it anywhere.
Oh, okay then. Oh, I see.
Yeah. But well, that was something else too.
That's funny. That's crazy though.
It's just sad. Like, yeah, definitely. President Kennedy dead. Like, how stupid are you? So the next story I want to take a look at.
Maybe we should try that. Maybe we should see.
We should do it in our areas. Yeah, like
Elvis Presley's something about Elvis Presley or something.
They probably know about him though. Like, no.
Well, yeah, that's because he's a pop star or a star basically.
Yeah, throw politics in there. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
What's government?
Anything to do with politics or government or anything like that, they won't know. They're like, who? What? And you still alive?
Yeah, exactly. So a story from Jason now. Paying with credit cards now in danger. Target malware. I can read this off if you want.
Okay, yeah, because I'm just getting to it here.
Yeah, if you've recently shopped at Target, then I'm sure you've heard about the recent malware breach with their POS or point-of-sale systems. It's been estimated that some 40 million U.S. credit card and debit card accounts are compromised by the malware attacks. What is malware, you ask? Malware is a malicious software that can be downloaded onto your computer intentionally or by accident. Malware includes viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and other types of software that can damage your system or violate your privacy. Malware can be installed on your computer when you download content or any application from the internet, either from email or websites. And of course, Jason's got some links in here to other information on malware. You can check that out, of course, in the description. The Target Corporation is ranked as the third largest U.S. retailer, but you would think that such a big corporation that they would have top-notch security in their systems. The attack on Target has been reported over the last 19 days, and in that time period, some 40 million credit card and debit card accounts were stolen or compromised, and around 70 million customers were affected. Now, of course, unfortunately, the reason Target didn't have the security is an expense, and they don't care. Big company, come on, they got millions. They don't have to care.
But what about the people that were compromised,
Unfortunately, companies that large, they don't have to care anymore, which is kind of a scary fact. But when a company gets that big, it doesn't matter to them anymore until they get caught, of course.
Now coal is affected up there. Canada.
Well, they say it's possible. He's like I said,
Yeah.
Target, just recently moved up to Canadian markets, so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So yeah, these attacks consist of mostly memory parsing, a piece of malware that infects POS systems, credit card swipers and cash registers are point-of-sale systems, and anytime you swipe a credit card, that information is read by the machine, which, if infected, can also be read by malware attackers. The attacker can either use that information for themselves or sell it to other cyber criminals online. And the FBI sent a warning to retailers, explaining that they should expect more attacks like the one on Target. In a three-page report that was sent out by the FBI, it warns retailer companies that they believe POS malware crime will continue to grow over the next term, despite law enforcement and security firms' actions to mitigate it. The accessibility of the malware on underground forums, the affordability of the software, and the huge potential profits to be made from retailer POS systems in the United States make this type of financially motivated cybercrime attractive to a wide range of actors. This is it. The interesting thing is this attack occurred during the holidays. Why is this interesting? It is because will this be their target time of the year? Will these attacks happen more often during the holidays? How will this affect the economy with everyone too afraid to shop during the holidays? Probably not very much, because most people are zombies. Like, well, they could get my credit card information, but hey, they got great deals over at Target.
Oh yeah. Who cares?
I know one thing. Jason knows one thing. Hearing the words credit or debit when checking out may be a thing of the past. Probably not.
I do.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna go in the opposite direction. I think cash is gonna be out. Because you know what? Think about it. You go to the store. It's like that here. You show them cash, and like, for a split second, they're like in awe. Like, what is that?
Well, why I say that is let me clarify why I say
ahead.
that. I believe that sooner or later we're gonna have some type of memory chip or some type of scanner chip embedded in our body, or like on our hand, or like some type of thing where they can just scan us, and we have money on that chip or whatever. There's information in that chip. There's our identity. And money.
Yes.
If we have money on there, you scan it. That money gets taken away, and there you go. How do you get paid? You get scanned. They put the money on there through a scanner or whatever. Digitally. It's like digital money. I mean, look at Bitcoin. That's not even real money.
That's a great idea and all, but they can keep it because I don't want the government putting fucking microchips.
But why would they do this though? Why would they do this? Well, they're already trying to put microchips in people.
Obviously, that would be potential for just getting rid of your rights altogether.
Yeah, security tracking. Also, they'd have the ability to control all that.
Like I said,
it would cost less money because you don't have to print out all that money all the time. It'll be a little digital scanner, and it's like fake stuff. It's like just a digital signature or whatever.
That's a good point in that sense. Like at least they can be a little more secure, like they do up here in Canada. They have chips built into the cards, which I guess you guys don't have. And even just tap our cards and it's done. You don't have to swipe them or insert. We just tap them and it's done.
I think that's where the technology in the world is going. Well, here in America, that is pretty soon we'll have chips embedded in our skin or on our hand or somewhere where our information is accessible there, our bank accounts accessible there, the money, all that information is accessible by this one chip that's implanted in your hand or wherever it may be.
Yeah. I think it'd be scary.
Think of the profit for the government and everybody else. I mean.
Well, there's huge profit. The government wants
the corporations.
Yeah, the government isn't there to help you either. They're just thugs too. Rich thugs though.
Yeah, there you go, rich thugs. I do want to note off the other.
I wanted to finish this off here. So Jason has some tips that the home user can do to avoid such things. So the first one is don't click any links that are from an unrecognized or from somebody you don't know, especially in emails. Never download a program that you don't need or didn't ask for. Install network monitoring tools like Wireshark or Microsoft Network Monitor, which are both free and easy to use. You can also install a malware protection program like Malwarebytes, which the free version just scans your system, but you can also get a real-time protection in that same program if you pay for the pro version, which is relatively cheap. And
recommended by us.
Yeah, and smart surfing. Don't search for sites that could be dangerous. And he also has a list of potentially dangerous websites, and you can even check on various other things. You can search for sites here, and of course, the big, malware security companies have
Yeah.
services too. I know Norton's got one, McAfee's got one. McAfee's total garbage, but if you want to check it, you can. This is my opinion on McAfee. I can't stand it. Soon to become Intel Security.
Oh, really?
And yeah, also they're finally getting rid of the McAfee name, and I guess the founder of McAfee is just jumping for joy. Literally, he is. He wants his name off. Also, a bonus. Jason has a safe browser extension that is community-based linked in the article as well. He's got all these programs we mentioned linked in the article, which you can find in the description. Each time someone goes to a dangerous site, they can mark it as such, and the extension will automatically catalog that domain as a dangerous site. So anyone who has the extension will be alerted when they go to untrusted or dangerous websites. The extension is available in the Chrome Web Store and at their website, which is, once again, linked in the article.
There you go.
So anything you want to say on that, Jason?
Be safe out there, guys. I mean, no computer is safe, just to let you guys know. So you need to take precautions to protect yourself, because a lot of people, I mean, one of my own family members has had their identity stolen. So
use Linux.
Yes, use Linux, but hey, once again, Linux can be compromised as well.
It's actually somewhat safer though. I know they did this test. They were trying to take out a Mac system, a Windows system, and an Ubuntu system.
Yeah.
By the time Windows and Mac were totally crashed, done, finished,
you gotta
still running just fine.
Yeah, you gotta realize Mac has exploits in the programs that they run, like iTunes and Apple and freaking some of the programs on Mac. They have a lot of exploits, as well as Linux, Ubuntu programs have exploits.
All OSs do, but
yeah.
Surprisingly, Ubuntu is said to actually be extremely secure. It's actually one of the more secure Linux-based OSs out there.
Well, hey, that's good. I run on Linux, I run on Windows, so I'm set to go.
So
maybe I should just totally move over to Ubuntu or something.
Yeah, there you go. Have a virtual machine for Windows or something.
Exactly.
Jason's got a story for us that he's going to read off now.
Yep, let me switch over.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, guys, the gamers out there. I know we've been talking about a lot of police stuff, so here's some gaming chatter for you guys, gaming topic here. Immersion, a gaming headset that can control your rage. All right, so have you gone through a few gaming controllers lately? Have you had to replace a TV screen due to the gamer rage? Well, don't worry about that TV screen anymore, because now there is a simple headset that you can control that gamer rage. Yes, that is correct. Designer Sam Matson has a solution to that gamer rage, introducing Immersion, which is a headset that monitors your heart rate and enhances the gamer's difficulty level the more enraged he or she becomes. Wait, doesn't that sound stupid? You'd think you would want to be less enraged instead of more enraged, right?
For sure.
Is this the beginning of the real Matrix, I ask? Because, I mean, getting connected to a game, that's kind of crazy, ain't it? The idea of this headset is to help the player control anger rather than let it snowball into a screen smasher. Matson, the designer of this headset, created a shooter game on the Unity platform, and he has also added in the ability to interpret a player's pulse rate. So how does all that work, you ask? The data from the headset is relayed via Bluetooth from the optical pulse sensor to the game. The idea is to make the player feel like all hope is lost, which will make it harder for the player to advance, thus making him even more angry. Some gamers believe that this is a bad idea, as I do, and rightfully so. Most gamers become angry with a game because of the inability to proceed to the next level. So in my opinion, this headset is the worst idea I've ever heard.
This is numbing the people now. This is.
Oh yeah.
This goes into other theories about the government, that they want to numb the people so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. I go on to say, in the past few years, gaming has become more integrated with the player. For me, this can be a good and bad thing. If there is too much integration, you have to worry about privacy. Look at Microsoft and all their integration and stuff like that. Too little, and you lose that first big impression the game wants to give the effect to. You want this game to be totally awesome, but you don't want to be integrated to where it's fucking reading your brain patterns or whatever, Immersion is not available commercially, but will be soon. And I ask you, will you take the red or blue pill? I made that little reference to the Matrix. So what do you think of this immersion, Cole? What do you think of this connectivity between the gamer and the player? I mean, is this something cool, innovative, or is this something out of the world unnecessary?
It has potential.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
Yep, it does, definitely.
It has potential for two things. It has potential for better gaming.
Yep.
it also has potential for the government to take advantage of it. If it's
You know
gonna,
what scares me? Okay,
Mhm.
there was this one. I think it was a movie or a TV series I watched. What happened is this person they get hooked up to this game sensor, whatever this gaming type of device. Excuse me, and it basically can get a switch flipped. Once that switch is flipped, the government or somebody outside source controls that person, and that kind of scares me. It connects into their brain patterns or whatever, their brainstem, and it can control them.
Well, I guess the government can do whatever they want. Really, a lot of people in the U.S. obviously play video games.
Yeah, oh hell yeah!
It's not like
I
it's a
play video games.
minority.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to control a population, other than put stuff in their water, why don't you just get right in their heads?
Okay, Mark Kiter comments and backdoors, and he also comments, kill you two. Can you two get to the chip and get the money? Chips and babies. Oh wow, he's referring back to the chips,
Hmm.
scanning chips and stuff.
But yeah, I think it has potential for being a very good thing and a very bad thing. The government can definitely
Yeah,
take
yeah.
advantage of this, and they can get
Have you ever
right
tried
inside your.
Have you ever tried a game that like connects to you or whatever? Integrates?
No, not
No.
quite like that. If it gets right in your brain, they could they even get your thoughts, your memories?
Oh,
I know that sounds
very.
like an out of this world thing, but hey, if
Yeah.
they get your memories, the NSA can go use and store that, and then when you do commit a crime, if you do, then they use that as evidence.
Yep, they use that as evidence, or they can implant memories into you. I mean,
Hmm.
you're basically connected. You know, this type of device, this immersion device, is
Yeah.
basically right on your brainstem. It's like a little freaking what do you call it? Like those sunglasses that they wear that kind of has like a little back to it and it goes around their neck.
Hmm.
I forget what it's called, but it's like right around their brainstem. Basically, that's where the thing
Well,
sits.
see, they don't have. Then in that case, when the government does,
Here, let me
blame.
provide a screen share.
Yeah, yeah. When the government goes ahead and blames, people for various different things,
Yeah.
terrorist acts and crimes, they won't even be able to defend themselves. You still think they did it?
I can't provide a screen share at the moment.
Yeah, mine stopped working earlier too.
Huh.
But it could be a very good thing for more immersive gaming and more realistic gaming. Like that'd
Oh
be
wow! I just look at that thing and it definitely kind of creeps me out.
that'd be as far. Yeah.
Once you said that to me, what you said about it, controlling us and stuff, that kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, wow, this does sit right by the brainstem. If you look
Hmm.
at it.
So I guess we are kind of talking about the government thugs and police state and all that.
Oh yeah, I didn't think the gaming topic would enter into that, but it did. Holy cow!
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
definitely.
it's terrifying. Like
So-called red pill or blue pill?
neither.
Neither.
Gonna assert my rights.
Oh, do you think we're living in the Matrix now?
I don't know. I've actually never seen The Matrix. I got the movie.
Are you freaking? You're not allowed on this show anymore. You're
You know,
bye-bye.
what? I got the DVD up there.
Okay, you're okay.
I haven't
Now.
even opened it yet.
You have to watch it. It'll blow your mind, Cole. It'll blow
Yeah.
your mind. Yes, watch it. It's one of the best shows I've watched or movies
Yeah,
I've
I got to
watched.
see that.
One of my favorites.
But it's scary. Like think about it.
Your audio cut out there. Oh
Really?
wow.
They can't
Feedback,
they can't numb your
delay.
mind. They can't numb your minds with fluoride anymore because people realize that's bad now. So they gotta take it out of the water. So what do? Just come up with something new. It's like they do with
Okay.
foods. Like in the 50s and 60s, people realized that fats were bad for them. The solution? Sugar.
Yeah.
Processed sugars.
And now what's bad for us?
And then they realized that people didn't like sugars. Solution? Aspartame. Of course, government tricks got that approved.
Yeah.
It causes big tumors in the rats, but don't mind that. Big huge tumors. Like it is cancer causing.
It's like I just want to ask if whoever's watching this, okay, please comment below and let us know. Do you think that the general population is dumbed down? Do you think the food, the water, and all that is polluted with chemicals? Do you think the games are having an effect on the gamers or the players or whatever? And
Well, I
do you
think the
it's dumbing
games.
us down?
I think games desensitize us to violence.
Desensitized. Very well. Very good.
Think about it. If you've
Yeah,
seen
oh, yeah.
somebody getting shot right in front of you,
Yeah.
the average normal person would be
Freaked out.
terrified, freaked
Yeah.
out. But you see that in a game for long enough, and chances are you may not be affected by it anymore.
And this could be a good thing and a bad thing for the government because think about it, they're kind of making us stronger in a way. They are. Because
Yeah,
because if you see, okay, say, okay, hypothetically, let's say the end of the world comes, or the anarchy comes, and it's the people versus the police, or the people versus the government, or whatever. You think somebody very afraid of danger and violence, you think that would be more of a danger or more of a challenge to the police, or would you think somebody who's not afraid of violence and not afraid of dying and all that would be more of a challenge? The people not afraid would be more of a challenge to the government than the
no,
people
it'd
that
be
are.
less of a challenge
How?
because they'd be unprepared because they don't really have the skills that they need, and they
Yeah.
go in and just get killed. They'd be committing suicide.
But that's why most of us out there that are doing shows like this, like Alex Jones and other people, we're trying to wake people up and get them ready and prepare them and train them, get them ready for what's happening.
Yeah, but you see those who are normal and do react to the.
Well, you're saying that people like me are not normal?
No, I'm not saying you. No. But I'm
you
saying
just said people who are normal.
But people who do, who are afraid of stuff like that, will run, and they will hide, and they will be safe. People who run right into it are basically committing suicide.
No, I'm not saying run right into it. I'm saying.
Well, they're going to try and fight, and if they can't, and if they have all this, come on, do you think an average person can be able to fight big tanks?
If there's a certain amount of people, yes. If there's like fucking 100,000 people, I mean, think about it. The civilians
but think about this, Jason. Even if it was 100,000 people, what are they going to do to a big tank that weighs how many tons?
They can organize. People can't just go after them with fucking pitchforks and baseball bats. I mean, come on, we got to organize and build up.
Yes,
you know.
Yes, but
our
think
own
about this. Well, yeah, but the tank is meant for war zones.
Yeah, well, that's why.
And if this thing really is a high-quality tank, trust me, just mow down the people.
But you also got to see the fact that many military personnel are also keen to what's going on, and also.
And do they have fighter jets in their backyard?
No, but they could probably.
Do they have?
Okay, 100,000 people versus a military base.
Okay, 100,000 people versus a missile.
Yeah, but. I mean,
see my point?
I see your point. You're just gonna say, it's inevitable that the citizens will all die. 100,000 people. Would the government kill that many people? Because think of how many other people would join the cause.
Syria.
Yeah, but they didn't kill over 100,000 people.
They've killed a hell of a lot in Syria.
They killed a lot. Yeah.
They blow up. The government is blowing up their own citizens.
Yeah. I know, but I'm saying. You
have
no hope for civilians fighting against the government? You don't think that's possible?
If we were on level ground,
it would be easier. Then why are we fighting back? Why are we even trying to get the people to wake up? Because
the way things work right now. But if we were to go into like a lot of people think into an all-out war, look who has all the weapons. Like yes, people still have guns.
Whose fault is that?
But no, listen. Have people ever been able to get their hands on missiles, bombs, tanks?
No, Well, see, that goes back to the point that we allowed the government to get too big, get too far, get too much power.
But this has been going on for years. Like, they had the nuclear bomb in the 40s for World War II. That was,
but you
of course,
think
for your safety
every member of the United States forces, military, would all be okay with killing 100,000 people, even if it's their brother or sister?
No, and that's probably where
they would
that's where you would get help.
Exactly.
Think about it, because they do have access to equipment. They just have to get it out of the military base.
Okay, how about this? An international virus gets sent out, wiping out all military computers and ability to launch missiles and launch.
So they're crippled. Okay.
And they're crippled. Then what happens?
We're on level ground. Much easier.
That's what needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. Now,
if the so-called anarchy and uprising happens, that's what would need to happen. Is a big computer virus to wipe out all the computer systems and networks, and then the civilians can rise up and take over.
Now, personally,
I bet this video is going to be taken down because we're talking about this.
But do I see it happening in the near future? No. Could it happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could happen, but it's not going to happen.
You can't say yes or no on that one. You can't definitively say no. This will never happen.
I mean, come on, look at the past few viruses that's been out.
Mm-hmm.
Chernobyl virus.
That
got into NASA systems, I believe, and wiped out their computers. Well, not wiped it out, but had difficulty getting them back.
Well, yeah, you look what's happening in the Ukraine. They're fighting against their police now. They're taking it back.
I just say we sit back and let it all happen because we can't do shit about it. What are we gonna do? Like Cole said, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We have to sit back and just let it happen, man. We gotta be. What is it? We gotta be We just gotta let it happen, you know, because
You can't just sit back. Oh, by the way, I guess in Syria, between 95 and 130,000 have been killed so far.
wait,
So
in Syria,
yeah. So I guess I was
130,000. Yeah, you was
yeah.
right.
So and of course, this is their own government doing this.
Yeah, but I don't. Has our government killed that many people?
Not in the U.S. No.
Yeah. But
Um,
look at the state of Syria. Look at the state of us. You know, we have our own technology. The civilians have technology that can, you know, do damage to the government.
you look at Syria, and what happened there is it was a political uprising. But
Yeah.
in the beginning, it was a very simple political protest. It's now
Exact.
grown into
That's
2011, 2012, 13, 14. It's been a 3-year battle with the government killing their own citizens.
so. What would be your solution to wiping out the so-called anarchy, brutality, tyrannical government or whatever? What would be your solution? Just let
Education,
it
really.
happen. Just let it happen.
Education of the people.
What is it?
Education of the people. If people don't know what's going on, they can't do anything about it.
So do you think that that's what we're doing now? Is trying to educate
Yeah,
them?
for sure.
But
One
what
person
happens
one
when
person doesn't have. Mm-hmm.
what happens when that education gets dumbed down or taken out of existence, where nobody gets to see that
As long
certain
as they can
education?
see it outside of compulsory education. Because think about this. Yes, you mentioned 100,000 people against them. How about 300 million?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the entire population in the U.S. is, I believe, about 311 million. So it's a lot of people.
311. How many people are in the government and are willing to kill off thousands of people of their
Now,
own?
would that happen? We can't say,
Yeah.
but we see the government is willing to kill people when you look at police for no reason.
I tell you
Um,
right now, with what I said tonight in this video, man, this live show, I'm worried.
I'd say it's a ways something like that would be a ways off, but is it
Yeah.
impossible? No one can say that.
Do you think I should be worried, Cole?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. Wait a minute.
But I don't know. It's
Well, like I said, Cole, if I go missing or something happens to me, you release that information I told you about.
you look at a lot of countries, and look at Nazi Germany. A lot of people thought it was a good thing. Of course,
Mm.
when it all broke down, they realized not so good. Of course, the German people are
Wait,
embarrassed of
are
their
you
history at
comparing
this
the
point.
United States to the Nazis?
I'm not the only one. You look at these Nazi
Cole?
checkpoints and these.
Cole?
Yeah,
Can you hear me fine? Is my volume down?
yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Did you hear what I said? Are you comparing the United States to the Nazis?
No, I never said it's as bad, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of similarities, but it's nowhere near as bad
No,
as
but you
that
see
one.
a lot of similarities. But if you look at something else in
Hey, if
history,
those signatures were legit over in California,
yeah,
then
but you look at something else, further back in history, the way it all happened there is actually very similar.
very similar. Do you think
People
that's
really believed it was a
possible?
good thing,
Do
and
you think
a
that
lot of
could
people
happen
think,
here?
well, in Germany it happened over a period of time.
Yeah. A couple of
If you
years,
do
like
something
10 years.
slowly, people don't notice it. And think about it in the U.S. They're slowly taking away your rights.
Well, the past few years, I think they've kind of ramped up a little bit,
Oh yeah,
honestly.
everything's for your safety. Yeah,
Yeah, now they've
you know,
ramped up like
yeah.
fucking.
The general reason is terrorism, but it
Yeah.
doesn't exist most of it.
Yeah, most of it, exactly. I mean, what was
And
the
yeah, are there
statistic on
terrorist
the?
groups? Yeah, sure, of course there are. But it's not that great when the government has to create them.
Okay, Cole, Mark Hyder says Mind Games 2014.
Hmm.
Meaning, I think he's meaning games like that'll like integrate with your mind and kind of like a virtual reality almost,
It's
immerse you into a new virtual reality type
like I
thing.
said, that has potential.
Yeah.
Good in a very good way and a very bad way. It could be a very good way to Oh, hang on a minute.
What happened?
Oh, my video went off. Cool.
Whoa, what's on my video? Oh, what is that?
Those are the comments. The live comments.
Why
Oh,
is
my
that
video's
on there?
back.
Why is that on there?
Um,
Live comment.
Did you click on the comment or something?
Mind game 2014 TV. There we go.
Oh, I see. If you click on the little eye. Yeah,
a little eye, and it brings up the comment. Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so
nice little feature. What's that?
There's Mark's. Yeah, I don't know what that does.
I just clicked it, so hopefully it doesn't destroy everything.
Yeah, so I guess we might as well wrap up this live stream.
Yeah. After hour show is gonna happen, so that's gonna be fun.
There you go. So thank you for watching. Of course, we'll be back later this week on Saturday at 9 p.m.
Hopefully, if I don't get hacked again.
Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern. Of course, you can watch us then, and we'll take a look at all the articles we have up on the website between now and then.
Description below.
Any last words?
Nope. Check out the description below, guys, for all the articles, and follow us on Twitter at Jason Goyette for me and at CK270 for Cole.
Hey, there you go. That's about it. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. Where he was refused an interpreter for the entire time he was there. So obviously the cops didn't care to hear. They didn't care to know what he had to say. Which is standard, treatment, I guess, in this police state. Now keep in mind, even if the cops didn't realize the man was deaf, the 64-year-old doesn't sound like much of a threat. All he did was fail to follow orders, which he couldn't hear. Besides, he was still in his vehicle. And it's not like he had a gun that he pulled on the cops or anything either. Yeah, so he obviously wasn't a threat. Besides, if he had a gun, they probably would have backed up and pulled their guns.
Exactly.
Now, if the cops had entered the situation calmly, they probably would have realized he was deaf. But they had to definitely come in and start punching him.
Oh,
they didn't give themselves a chance to learn anything about the situation.
No.
If somebody walks up to you and starts punching you, they're not going to learn anything about you.
And are you going to defend yourself?
Well, you should, but
exactly.
you see, but the problem is when these badged thugs come along, what happens? If you defend yourself, you're resisting arrest. You assaulted an officer.
Yep, there you go.
And they're going to put you away for a long time. So you're supposed to sit there and take the beating from the badged thug. Why? Because he has a badge and magical suit, and of course a gun.
A magical suit.
But instead of calmly entering,
not a game land.
They think it is. They think their suit, badge, and gun grant some extra rights.
They think this is Modern Warfare 3 or something. It's a game.
Well, these young cops are, they are brainwashed. They're mentally ill, and they do want to.
Hey, it's GTA 5. It's GTA 5.
Well, but the surprising thing is, Grand Theft Auto, and I've noticed this. No one else seems to have mentioned this. It has so many references to the police state. You do one minor thing in Grand Theft Auto. Let's say you just touch a police car. Like, you hit it. You bump into it or whatever. Simple traffic accident. And what happens? You have like 20,000 cops all over you. They got SWAT teams. Don't know.
Yeah.
And you look too, and they're immediately shooting. There's no negotiation in that game.
Yeah.
But I think that's reminiscent of real life.
Absolutely.
Because what happens in real life?
These stories.
If they're not punching you, they're shooting you.
Yep. There you go.
So continuing on in the article. Instead of calmly entering the situation, the cops immediately instigated a fight with a man that is deaf, elderly, and still in his vehicle. For what reason? None. With the facts that we currently have, it doesn't sound like this man was any threat to anyone, so why beat the shit out of him? Well, other than terrorize him anyways, of course. Is that what the cops get off on these days? Walking around picking on the elderly, beating the shit out of them? Like I mentioned, they have to be mentally ill. In this case, the cops immediately escalated the situation. This happens a fair bit too, with a 64-year-old deaf man. Even if he wasn't deaf, he still was no threat.
Exactly.
It is a disgusting level of police brutality. What was that?
No, I was just going to say, there's no investigation at all, or is this just...
Yes. The two officers responsible have been suspended with pay, of course. They definitely have to be paid. Scum like this definitely have to be paid, according to the police. With an investigation.
That's what I hate, guys. I hate that when they're paid.
And I can guarantee, I can bet, there's probably a 95% chance they will come out, even if they do publish the report and say, the cops did exactly what they're supposed to, or they'll just pull some bullshit like, well, we have to protect the privacy of the officers, so we can't tell you anything. So, either way, you're probably not going to hear anything about it, or they might just say, well, the 64-year-old deaf man was definitely a threat to society and had to be had to get beat down. Now, the family has set up a website bringing attention to police brutality. You can find that at pearson.com.
That description below, guys.
Yes, and the scary part about this story is, what if, even if the officers didn't realize he was deaf, like I said, they could have calmly entered the situation, but the scary part is, and chances are they probably did. What if the officers did realize that the man was deaf, and they decided, yeah, I'm going to go in here and beat the shit out of a deaf man?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
But was there anybody around? I mean, would they think that? Would they try to do that?
I don't think there was witnesses, and chances are, if there were, they're keeping quiet. They don't want to get involved, which is standard in this society. I see
but these cops were obviously trained well.
Oh, for sure.
They should have looked at their surroundings. They should have noticed the thing on the window saying that the man's deaf.
But you could argue they've been trained great too.
Trained what?
You could argue that they've been trained to do exactly what they were supposed to do. Because look, all the cops do this shit now.
That's true. It can't be just a coincidence that all these cops are doing this. They have to be trained trained to do this.
They want to terrorize you.
That's the goal.
That's the sole goal. It's not to protect and serve. It's to terrorize the shit out of you.
That's the goal. You know why that's the goal?
Why's that?
To make it seem like we need more security.
Oh, yes. Like, you see, we have to beat the shit out of all these innocent people.
What is this going to do? It's going to cause more homeland terrorism, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to cause more people to be angry at the police, okay?
As they
more
should.
citizens to be angry. And they're going to be labeled terrorism, and they're going to wind up going back after the police, doing something stupid. And they're going to say, oh, look, there's terrorists in our own country. We need more security.
Exactly. It's like when the Americans head over to some country in the Middle East. They bomb the shit out of them, and then the people fight back. And they're like,
and then they wonder,
I don't know why they're doing this. These are terrorists. They have grown up in this life that they just hate the Americans. I wonder why they hate the Americans.
Wonder why.
I only wonder why. You blew up their entire family. I wonder why. Really.
Exactly. Hey, you said it, man. You said it right there.
And these people seem like dumbfounded. Like, we blew up the entire apartment building full of innocent families.
I want to clarify to the listeners here, the viewers here. Cole lives in Canada, so he can be outspoken. Okay, he doesn't have to worry about them coming after him. I gotta worry about this. Okay, so I'm agreeing with him, but yeah, I'm definitely ready to ramp up my protest.
It is your constitutional right in the United States to do so.
Exactly.
But of course, they're busy just crumpling up the Constitution and using it to start fire. And
that's why people are worried. That's why people like me are worried that being outspoken like this, it's gonna hit them in the ass.
Yeah, and then I was watching this video. It was like they mentioned this Obama. It was like a satire type thing.
Yeah.
And it mentioned it's like Supreme Leader Obama or something like that.
Supreme Leader? What the fuck? This ain't Star Trek. Like,
I thought it was funny.
Whoa.
And it was a satire thing,
Didn't he do a presidential address, by the way? I thought he did a presidential address today, or was it yesterday?
I don't know. He's probably just spewing more lies, like usual.
Exactly. That's why I didn't watch it. I don't even know when it was. My own president.
He was like, "We're gonna end the NSA." Well, I secretly funded this whole thing. Terrorism, that's a terrible thing. Well, the U.S. government kind of funds them, but terrible. And
what was that Al Qaeda thing that you mentioned earlier?
Oh yeah, Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda, yeah.
And of course the FBI, they're against terrorism too, and they foil a lot of terrorist plots that they create.
Well, hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's scary too. Like
what are you gonna do? You're gonna move to Canada. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, they come out and like, we've stopped all these terror plots. Just don't read the document saying we created these terror plots.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's why some of these buildings have been blown up recently, and a lot of this stuff's happening. They're hiding evidence.
Well, hey, you look at what's going on in Russia now, and there's all this, they're mentioning Al Qaeda with that now. Like, I wonder how that's happened.
Oh crap, this is scary.
And but if it's so dangerous, can somebody please explain why they are still sending all these athletes from every country in the world there?
Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? A couple of weeks ago, or maybe even a couple months ago, I published an article about the Olympics coming up over in Russia. And they said that they don't want any cameras there at all.
Well, that's
like media, like news and stuff. Like
I heard about that. Yeah.
They're also like confiscating or not allowing tablets, cell phones that have cameras and stuff like that into the stadium or whatever.
Well, yeah, we all know that Russia's total. It's.
So what's going to happen? Why don't they want all this coverage? What if something happens there and there's no evidence of it because there's no cameras to record it?
Oh yeah, and of course all the security footage.
That went missing, guys.
No, yeah.
What happened? The footage got damaged somehow.
We had it all stored in that building.
And it miraculously
it magically just fell down.
Yeah.
But
level by level,
Yeah. If we look back at this story that we're doing here, the deaf man, it's like, what do you think would happen to him? You think, like, obviously you don't agree with what happened. Obviously, this is disgusting level of police brutality. But
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
what are your thoughts on it?
Uh, Oklahoma. I know I'm not gonna be. I'm not. I'm sad to bring. I don't want to bring up this area, but Oklahoma has been known to have like a lot of race issues. I know. I know that for a fact. I did
Most
have
areas
a.
do.
I had friends that live in Oklahoma and have problems with this and heard about it. But that's
Hmm.
everywhere. Why would they? Why would police just randomly beat on a black dude?
Well, yeah, I guess there is that racial part to it.
Yeah.
To it.
I mean, would they do that? Would they do the same to a white guy, just rolling down his window, getting ready to talk to him?
It's hard to say.
What these officers? What race were these officers?
Good question. Of course, they're
Good
not going to
question.
release that. They're going to be, there's an ongoing investigation. We can't,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's none of your business. Go away. And they really do say that to people
I
with
know.
cameras
I
now.
know. To the
The
cameras.
cops. I was watching these, like these cop watchers on YouTube.
Yeah.
They got the cameras and the cop walks over. Big tough guy.
Yeah. Big.
Type thing. And he's like, go away.
And he's so pissed off. Like he acts like they're freaking terrorists themselves or something. Like he wants to beat him up almost.
Hey, if you're holding the camera,
He's like
you're
got so much
holding
anger
police
towards him.
accountability. That's why
Exactly.
he's so pissed off.
Exactly.
And then they start scaring you, like that
Silent mean
yeah,
stare. Like
you're violating my privacy bullshit.
Yeah.
It's and then you tell them we run a public place. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy in public. Well, you're obstructing.
You're obstructing. You're obstructing something.
They just pull shit out of their ass when they see a
Yeah.
guy with a camera. And something I wanted to mention with that Olympic thing, since you brought it up, the Canadian government actually issued a travel advisory to that particular part of Russia. So they're saying you shouldn't travel there, and you should be extremely careful if you do travel there. So the Canadian government's not necessarily recommending.
We're sending athletes over there.
Exactly, but
what happens if this starts World War III? What happens if a bunch of Americans go to Russia and they capture them, or they fucking start a war and start killing them or something? What if this starts World War III, or starts like a big war or something?
That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Like, obviously, the Canadian government isn't going to stop you from going there because it's within our, laws that that you have freedom of movement. And you look at this, and they're saying you probably shouldn't go there. If you want to, that's kind of your problem, but you shouldn't do it. And we can't really do much if anything goes wrong. So
and this is recent. Like this hasn't been
safe.
Has this advisory been going on for a while, or is it just
well, there's travel advisories to other parts of Russia, but this particular one is actually quite recent.
Ooh. Huh.
Here, I'll bring it up. I know we're going off topic.
Way off topic.
I'm liking this though. I am
too. I enjoy it. It's interesting to me. I mean.
Let's see your travel advice. So Government of Canada. So advisories. So we got. It does mention. So there's no nationwide advisory for Russia, but it says here you should exercise a high degree of caution due to crime. And then it says for detailed information about the Olympics. They have a page dedicated to it.
Holy hell! A page dedicated to it?
Yeah, it just made the news a little while ago, and it mentions all the terrorist attacks, about all the explosions and stuff that have been going on there, and it mentions that you should really, really plan it out. And it says here, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, it also says that if you're homosexual, you probably shouldn't go there.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of travel advice for Russia if you decide to go there. But it doesn't sound like a great place to go, especially considering that other parts of Russia.
Now, what area is this close by where the Olympics?
I'm trying to find the exact page that I need, but I know there is some sort of travel advisory for that.
Is this by the place where, or is this at the place that the Olympics are being held? Or is it
I got a Toronto Sun article here on it.
Okay,
We haven't really researched this topic, for our viewers because we kind of just stumbled on it.
Yeah, just now actually.
Yeah. Trying to see here. Blah 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 blah.
So you're seeing what happens when we're looking up and searching for news and stuff.
Yeah. So you look at the Toronto Sun here, and the headline here is Canada issues warning for travelers heading to Sochi. So if we're issuing warnings, for our people, why the hell? Hey, welcome back to another News and General live stream. I'm joined tonight with Jason Goyette, Of course, he's just flabbergasted that we've already started. Of course, I'm Cole Cooper, a co-owner of News in General, and of course, say no to the police state. We have Jason Goyette, the owner of News in General. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at various articles we have on NewsInGeneral.com this week, such as mainly the police state and what happened over at Target, and some gaming news that Jason's got for us. And I think that's pretty well it. You can follow us at News in General on Twitter. And hey, while you're at it, watching the video, leave some comments, and
yes, please.
We'll get around to them, because we want the interaction with our viewers, don't we, Jason?
Oh, absolutely. We want to know what you think.
Yeah. So absolutely. We will get right on that. So in the first, actually, hang on 1 second. I know I shouldn't do this, but I have to. I'm interrupting.
You're interrupting this broadcast here. What are you doing, Cole?
I got to make sure that we're looking right in the stream. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure.
So go ahead, Jason, and speak.
Yabba dabba doo.
Okay, now I gotta speak. I gotta see if it updates.
Yabba dabba doo. Yabba dabba doo. Go ahead.
Is it updating? Because there's obviously the delay. Okay, so you laugh, and it's stuck on you.
It's stuck on me.
Yep.
Great. So you guys get to see my ugly mug.
So I'm gonna try the cameraman thing and see if. Oh, I know we're stuck in the beginning. I gotta.
Wait, our stream's stuck?
Okay, it is switching. It is switching.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's switching just fine.
All right, apologies, guys, for this technical difficulty. We were trying to figure out the whole cameraman app because I noticed in the previous shows that it stuck on my face. Like
yeah, so we don't need the cameraman app.
It was me. Okay,
yeah. Good. All right, so let's jump in. I got my glasses on today too.
Yes, Mr. Smartman, Mr. Investigator. Tracking down the sources, are you?
I proved I can do that.
Oh, yes, you have, man. You impressed me tonight with what you told me earlier.
Okay, so let's get into this. What was there? Cops beat let's try this again. Cops beat deaf 64-year-old man for not listening to them. Police in Oklahoma were very busy protecting the public from a 64-year-old deaf man who had done nothing wrong. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol pulled over 64-year-old Pearson for a traffic violation. When officers approached the vehicle, Pearl rolled down the window, doing exactly what he was supposed to do, and before Pearl got the chance to do anything, the cops immediately began punching Pearl, which, keep in mind, he is 64, he's an elderly man, and he's deaf. He couldn't have heard the orders the cops were screaming, so while he was being beaten, he attempted to get his ID so he could show it to officers, but he wasn't able to because, the cops continued beating him for several minutes, actually. The officers were beating him because he allegedly didn't follow orders, but keep in mind that Pearl was deaf, he couldn't hear orders, and the officers had to have seen a notice on the driver's side door before they beat him, which stated, "Driver is deaf," and this is apparently a large notice, but instead of realizing the man was deaf and couldn't hear a word they were saying when Pearl rolled down the windows, immediately a beating. After several minutes of protecting and serving him, they charged him with resisting arrest and took him off to jail.